Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Global Racing League. We're back for round 4 of the season here from a very wet Barcelona. It has to be said, it is currently raining cats and dogs out there, and it's gonna definitely make qualifying very interesting for sure. A lot of cars heading out on intermediates to begin, which is very interesting indeed. So we'll have to wait and see who is going to be the fastest in these conditions. Hopefully we'll get a dry race, but the game has thrown us a wet qualifying to begin with. There are a few regulars out there, a few newcomers as well. Ruffles being one of them in the AlphaTauri tonight, sitting alongside Maestro in the AlphaTauri tonight. Plebs in the Alpine tonight, one of the reserves. And we've also got to welcome K-Knight, who's in the Mercedes. Good luck for the race. And like I say, it is a very wet track out there on board with K-Knight, and you can see how much he is struggling. As Colin begins, the Haas of Tom getting out of the way there very nicely. On his way, Colin's backed out of that one actually. He's got it invalidated, so he will have to go again. I think it's Donkey Max, Pleb's teammate, on a lap. And he goes purple sector 1 due to nobody else setting a time. Really wet out there. I'm almost running out of a road on the exit there, but he's kept it together so far. He goes purple sector 2. We've got yellow in sector 2/3. I think that's a Red Bull. I think it's May that's spun. It is. So he's crawling and letting everyone get past him. You can see that on the map in the corner. Donkey crosses the line, 1:26.9 to open. Who's next? I think it's Ruffles, our debutant, to come across the line next. He's out of the last corner. Onto the start-finish straight, 1:27.6, slots in behind. Enzo Pro's just starting a lap. Kev Knight does a 1:29.3, so very mixed bag of lap times so far. NRDZN in the McLaren. Nice to see him again coming across the line. 1:28.1 puts in P3 for now. Maestro's next to come, and he just jumps ahead of Kev Knight with 1:28.8. And has Maestro got a problem? He seems to be going very slowly, stopping at the side of the racetrack. Seems a little bit of an unusual thing to do in that situation. And meanwhile, Utancic is out of the session. he is out, so he's not going to be able to put a qualifying lap. Tom's just done a 126.3, and Donkey Max behind him with the toe just pips him, so well, he must have been doing very similar lap times, only 100th of a second between them two. So far, just under 12.5 minutes to go. Pleb is still to set a lap here. He's done a 23.7, sorry, a 56.2 in the second sector. Hopefully he can keep this one together and get a lap in. Is that McLaren going to cause a problem? Nope. Moves out the way with ease. Wreck Diver's just gone fastest with a 126.2. So he jumps ahead of Donkey and Tom. Benny's up into P4. Ruffles on his debut currently P5, 127.0. And in the meantime, Pleb has just done a 126.6 and beat Benny and Ruffles. So all to play for out there in these wet conditions. You would only think if it carries on raining, it's only going to get wetter. Seems to be easing off though, which is the good news. Apologies guys, that was my phone going off. And in the meantime, Tom has just done a 125.9. So he does the fastest lap so far. Donkey Max is a 125.9 behind him as well. So using each other's toe of them to try and get a quicker lap. It looks like Donkey's just slipping away a little bit now, but you never know. A long way to go in this race for sure. I'm just going to get the chat up and see what you guys have been saying. I've just been informed by Jake, who's on our stewards committee, that in the chat that Yatansik's retired due to he's got a quali suspension. I was not aware of that, and I should know that, but I don't, hence why he is going to be sitting out this one, because I didn't see him crash on track or anything. So he is out the session. Got loads of people watching now, I've got 10 people in here, so thank you very much for joining us guys on this Saturday evening. Like I say, a very, very wet Circuit de Barcelona. Tom's just gone even faster with a 125.2. I think Donkey is coming out the last corner now, but it looks like a very slow lap here. It's into the 1 minute 30, so that is not going to be an improvement for him. Benny's just gone wide and got his lap invalidated. Wreck Diver 126.2, there or thereabouts, and he's just gone purple in the second sector. So this could get very interesting indeed. Can Wreck Diver join the party? And can he do any damage? Soon have to wait and see. I'm just trying to grab my charger before my phone battery runs out. So my controller battery runs out, sorry. And Wreck Diver goes P2 in the meantime, 125.4, so purple in the last sector as well. Just think he had quite a bad last sector, and I've just seen at the top of my screen a dry line has formed and DRS has been enabled. So are we going to see a few guys jumping on to soft tyres for the last section of running? Apologies about that guys, my controller disconnected. So, which I was trying to get it plugged in, but I didn't quite get there. So, but I was just saying, it's dried up. DRS has been enabled, and there's a lot of guys piling into the pit lane now. NZ Pro's just on his way in. Motor and Kev Knight are in. There's going to be a lot of people, I think, switching to drier tyres. Try and see if they can make something happen. Pleb is the first to go and try that. he is heading out on a set of soft tyres. The track off the racing line is damp, but on the actual racing line itself it's not too bad. So it'll be a matter of time to see what will happen, but Pleb's going to try and go and set an early pace. RBR Grobs is still to set a lap as well. He is currently on an out lap, I believe. Yeah, there he is. But he's on a set of inters, so that could get interesting as well. Pleb's on soft, Benny's out onto the soft tyres now as well, so they're the first couple of drivers to try and chance it. I think I can see on my mini map Kev Knight and who is it? I think it's Maestro actually. Yes, it is Maestro and Kev Knight having a try as well on the soft compounder tyres. The track does look really dry now actually, so I think it'll only be a matter of time before we see everyone setting laps on soft tyres. The thing is though, this could involve a bit of strategy here. If people decide to stay in the pit lane, which a lot of people could do to be honest, it means if they've qualified on the intermediate tyre, they get free tyre choice in the race regardless if they're in the top 10 or not. So that could also come into play. We've got an AlphaTauri spun on the pit entry. I'm not sure. I think that's Ruffles, I think. Yes it is, because Maestro's on an out lap. He's on his way again, but Pleb is the first man on his way to try and set a lap on the soft compounder tyres. Benny's just following behind him. We've got a yellow in sector 3 for no reason whatsoever looking at the map. And Pleb has already gone a second faster than his previous time in the first sector. He's gone purple in that first sector, faster than anybody. This could get very interesting indeed, and very quick as well. As he goes for it, and Pleb's in the wall! Oh my goodness me! He loses it on the exit. I think he took too much curb there. He's into the wall, and that is one wrecked Alpine car. Very hard hit into the wall, and he is out of the session, so he is not going to be able to improve. So it's down to Benny to set the opening lap on the soft compounder tyres, and he's gone wide and got it invalidated. That's a shame. So they're all struggling so far. Wreck Diver is just starting a lap on the soft tyres as well, currently P2. He's going to want to try and nick that pole position off Tom if he can. And with the track dry, this could be the right time to do it. 1.5 seconds, well, just under 1.5 seconds up in the first sector. It wasn't purple though. It was a personal best. Maestro in the meantime has just done 1:18.5. That is incredibly quick for a Maestro. 1:18.5 round here is a really quick lap. Kev Knight's just done a 1:20.0 behind him, which is more what I would expect. What a lap that was from Maestro. He's got his second one invalidated, but meanwhile, Gainful, who's just entered the game late in the McLaren, has just got a 5-place grid penalty, so for causing a collision. So he is going to be down the order, and he's going to need to set a lap ASAP. Wreck Diver out the last corner. Is he going to get into the 1:18s as well? He is, but it's not enough to beat Maestro. It's a very quick lap of purple in the last sector from Wreck Diver. Good effort from him. As in the meantime, Benny comes across the line, and Benny does a 1:17.6. What a lap. Very quick lap from Benny. And he's almost a second up on the entirety of the field. That's a real good lap, that. 3 minutes to go in the session. Are we going to see any more laps? I think Gainful's about to cross. Well, he's on a lap. It was NRDZN who was about to begin an out lap, and Gainful's lost the front wing, so that might explain the penalty a little bit. And DZN as I was just catching him, and he's just looped it coming through the first chicane. And on his way again after resetting. He is out, and Pleb with that 126.6 is going to be miles down the order, you would think. As May has just done 118.2, NZ Pro's done 117.8, Benny still leads with a 117.6, and all the quick laps are coming in now. Just over 2 minutes to go in the session. It's looking like we're going to have a good race on our hands here, which is always good to see. And Benny into the pit lane, and Tom's just gone even faster. He's just done a 116.6. So there's definitely time to be had. Again, a second quicker minimum than the rest of the field, as he has a bit of a wobble there on his second lap. He's had to back out of that one, and he'll be heading back to the pit lane after that. A couple more guys going out on out laps to try and improve. We've got an AlphaTauri of Maestro coming across the line, who's done a 116.3. 3 tenths quicker than Tom. Well, you could arguably say the track is getting drier and drier, and I think it is, because somehow they're finding so much time out there compared to what they were finding earlier in the session. As Maestro goes very wide. 3 seconds down on his previous lap. May's going quite slowly. I think he's backed out. Grobs has just started a flying lap. Currently P6, so the Red Bull's looking strong this evening. P5 and 6 respectively, with both with 118.2s. As that's Grobs that has just gone purple in the first sector. 30 seconds to go in the session. This is going to be his last lap to try and get something out of it. His teammate May has just spun in sector 3, coming around the hairpin. Sorry, the second hairpin, sorry. So he is just getting back, turned back round now, I can see. And on his way. And Grob's down. And Grobs has gone purple in the second sector as well. This is looking very promising from him. Is he potentially going to beat Maestro to it and get something out of this? The yellow way he's passing now, that's for his teammate. But Grobs round the final chicane and onto the main straight. 116.3 to be. He's not lost a lot of time in the last sector, and it's a 117.9 in the end for Grobs. A real shame that. And in the meantime, Donkey Max has just done a 115.6. Maestro's in the pit, so he can't improve. Can Tom improve? No, he can't. NRDZN's on a lap, but it's not looking very promising, I don't think. As he just comes through the last sector. He's backed out of it, so he is out of the session. Kev Knight is round the last corner. Can he jump up the order? He jumps up to P9, so up from P10 to P9, 118.2. Ruffles is next to come across the line. He's made a massive improvement, 4 seconds up on his previous time. This should get him P11 at least, and it does. 119.0 for Ruffles at the end of the session, sticks him in P11, and that is the order for the Spanish Grand Prix. Donkey Max in the Alpine is on pole. Maestro second. Tom, our championship leader, all the way down in P3. NRDZN with a decent qualifying session. He's P4. Benny's down in P5. NZ Pro's P6. Grob's P7. May is in P8. Good qualifying from the Red Bulls, to be fair. Nice and consistent from them, to say the least. And we've got Kev Knight in P9, sorry, Wreck Divers down in P10, just couldn't get a lap in there right at the end of the session. Ruffles P11, Plebs P12 after crashing out at the start of the soft tyre session. Collins down in P13, he didn't go out for another lap, and Gainful is at the back of the grid. Guys, stay Gainful, and sorry, Yatansik as well is at the back of the grid. Guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back, guys, to the Global Racing League. The formation lap is underway for the Spanish Grand Prix. 33 laps ahead of us, and the good news is that we have a dry racetrack to contend with. Donkey Max is on pole position in the Alpine, and he's got Maestro for company alongside him on the front row. Tom, our championship leader, all the way down in P3. He's starting from the second row of the grid. He's got NRDZN for company alongside. Benny and NZ Pro start on the third row, 5th and 6th. The two teammates, Grobs and May in the Red Bulls, 7th and 8th respectively, start on row 4. Kev Knight and Wreck Diver both start on the 5th row of the grid, P9 and 10. Ruffles does start P11. He's been reset to the grid though, so we can't look at him. He's got Pleb for company alongside. Yatansik and Colin, both P13, P14. They start on the 7th row of the grid, and Gainful is at the back on the 8th row. 33 laps, like I said, ahead of us here in Spain at the Circuit de Barcelona, in the Catalan region, and it should be a good race, this one. All the drivers keep it clean down towards turn 1, and we've got a race on our hands as they come round to form the grid. Donkey Max, like I say, on pole position as he's about to take his spot on the front of the grid. Maestro alongside him. It'll be interesting to see who gets the better start. Championship leader Tom not looking comfortable round here, to say the least, in qualifying. He could only manage P3, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do in the race as the final few cars take position on the grid. As Gainful is just making a position up. We go to 5 red lights here in Barcelona. Long 5 red lights, and away we go. Donkey Max doesn't get a good start. Maestro's alongside him. However, Tom behind him does get a good start. NRDZN dropping down the order. Benny's up to P4 as they head into turn 1. Maestro on the inside. Tom looking for company. I think they all just about get through cleanly. They do. Maestro's still ahead, but Donkey's going to try and sweep back round the outside. It looks like Tom going wide there in the background. NZ Pro, his teammates alongside him, going into turn 4. They're battling away. Maestro and Donkey are side by side, and NZ Pro cuts his teammate off very aggressively, going down into turn 6 as they make their way back up the hill through sector 2. Donkey Max leads the way and maintains position. Maestro's behind him. NZ Pro, cracking start from him, up into P3. We've got yellow in sector 2. I think that is a spinner, and I think it's Pleb. It is indeed. He's got on his way, but I think he's got a front wing. Tom's lost the position to Benny there as well, going down the back straight. So this has not been a good start from Tom at all. Benny's up to P4. His teammate NZ Pro is in P3, and the two leaders still battling away. Donkey Max is trying to pull away as much as he can and as quickly as he can from that AlphaTauri behind as we come on to start lap 2. Donkey Max sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:22.3. That'll be quicker by the end for sure, as I think Tom's coming under attack from a couple of other guys. Wreck Diver and NRDZN is in there. A little bit of argy-bargy. And just about keep it together though. Tom is down to P5, really low down the order. He's got a lot of work to do to try and get back up. He's trying to attack Benny for P4 here. The grid has not reset itself yet. There it is. Now it has. So Tom is looking way past Benny and he just can't find a way so far. Really needs to try and find a way, as that's Tansik, who's had a great start to the race, diving up the inside of Ruffles there, and he's now having an attack at Wreck Diver for P7. On board with you, Tansik. Like I say, qualifying ban, which I wasn't aware of for some reason at the start of the race. So he's now Donkey Max 1:19.1. That's a bit quicker. I think they'll get quicker as we go on through the day. Wreck Diver pulling away from Tansik there. I think the threat is gone for now. We've got a yellow in sector 2, and that is Colin out of the race. A virtual safety car has been deployed. Now that car looks like it's on the main racetrack to me. So is that potentially going to be a full safety car if they decide to upgrade it? It doesn't look like it for now. It looks like it's staying as a virtual. We'll keep an eye out though. But Donkey Max holding position at the start. NZ Pro is definitely going very slowly. He's got a train of Formula 1 cars behind him currently. Benny is going to look to make a move on this restart, you would think. As I think we're about to... Cars seem to be speeding up. As we wait for the restart to get underway, the car has been moved of Collins off the track, so no points for Ferrari today. And now we are back underway. May has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. He's down in P12, so he is going to have to make a pit stop. I think NRDZN might have one as well, unless that's a penalty for something else. Meanwhile, NZ Pro is coming under attack from Benny here. He's got his teammate Tom, whom Tom might follow him through actually as he looks up the inside. Tom has to back out of it. He's running a bit of a strange race, is Tom currently, as we go on board with him, heading down towards, and NZ Pro lets his teammate through. So were there potential team orders there for the sake of the World Championship? Potentially yes, because NZ Pro has not had a good season to say the least so far. So Tom goes through up into P4. Benny in the Williams is currently P3. Maestro and Donkey Max extending the gap out the front. 2.2 seconds to Benny it is now from Maestro and Donkey Max as they both continue to battle away and head through the middle sector down towards the final chicane of the lap. And it's all going to come down to who's going to bite first, you would think, when it comes to pit stops, because Donkey and Maestro seem to be very evenly matched pace-wise. And meanwhile, Maestro's got DRS. Tom's just got the fastest lap of the race. Maestro's going to sweep around the outside of Donkey. Gets it done before the corner as well. Pretty good that. So he is on his way. NRDZN did have a drive-through penalty. He's just served it in the pit lane. May has also served his on the lap before. So NRDZN is on his way again. In fact, May's only just serving his drive-through penalty, so must have had to pick the previous lap or something. As Tansik picks up a 3-second penalty for track limits. And I think Donkey might have a go here with DRS. It was in range, but just not quite close enough to make a move. They head back up the hill. Nice try the last corner. Donkey Max continues to fight hard. Donkey Max continues on his way, trying to extend the gap. He's increased the gap to 7/10 to Maestro. Tom is catching behind though, and has got past Benny in the meantime. I've completely missed that off camera. As he has a bit of a wobble there, there's Tom coming through, and I think NRDZN's had a moment looking at the mini map. It's coming through sector 2, is that, or the middle sector. Tom out the last chicane, and Tom is in for what you could say is an early pit stop. He's followed Maestro in actually, so that's interesting. Maestro's got a penalty for speeding into the pit lane, so Donkey Max takes the lead. Maestro is changing tyres. What is Tom going on to? Tom is going on to a set of mediums now. Can they potentially go to the end of the race from here? I don't know if they can, you know. It's a tough ask to do a one-stop around here. If it went on to hards, then it would make it obvious what they were trying to do. But he's gone on to a set of mediums, which I don't know if they'll get them to the end of the race or not. Meanwhile, Ruffles, Maestro's teammate, currently up in P6, chasing down Tansik for the top 5, but Tansik does have a 3-second penalty for track limits, so he will have to take that into account, whether it's worth battling or not. You would think Ruffles will want to try and finish as high as he can up the order. He comes through, we've got a yellow in sector 2, I think that's Maestro, it is indeed, he's off into the gravel, so he's had a high speed off, coming through the middle sector. He's on his way again, but that may have cost him dear, and I think that's Grubs in the wall, it is. He's lost the front wing in the process, and the virtual safety car is out, so there's debris on the track, and that has poured everybody into the pit lane as that one. So Ruffles takes the lead. Donkey Max comes out in P3, which is not a bad result to be fair, given the fact that the guys he was battling pitted a lap earlier and he's managed to do the overcut on them. Behind, Gainful is still to pit, and Ruffles is still to pit as well, but Ruffles could potentially go to the end of the race. He's started on them, I believe he started on them set of mediums. I'll just check. Yes, he has. He started on them, so he could potentially try and do a one stop if he so wishes to. And this has gone quite away from so far. He needs to try and extend the gap, you would think, to try and stop the guys undercutting him, because I don't think many of these guys who have pitted that early are going to get mediums all the way to the end of the race. So Ruffles is playing cautiously here. He's on a set of mediums. He'll go to a set of hards, you would think, midway through the race, probably 14 maybe 15, and do the rest of the race, the other half of the race, on hard tyres. That's the way I would see it happening anyway. But at the minute he's got to try and extend his gap at the lead, his gap in front, and avoid people catching him. Meanwhile, Tom obviously back down in 6th after pitting. He's got Benny for company. Benny's defending hard and can't do it. He's left a bit of a gap on exit though, which I think Tom might try and take. He's going to have a go round the outside, just about. He gets it done, but a little bit sketchy between the two of them there, to say the least. Benny will get DRS coming down this back straight. We'll be able to see if he can do anything from that. Is he going to have a late lunge? No, he isn't. He's just going to use it to get that little bit closer. Come through the middle sector. Meanwhile, just a bit further up the road, Gainful and Donkey are battling over 2nd place, and Gainful's just died for the pit lane, so he did start and then set of softs. He will be pitting to try and do a one-stopper, and Tom still moving about. Benny trying to use the DRS to close closer, but it doesn't seem to be having a huge effect currently, as this is the move for the lead. Ruffles has lost a lot of time, and Donkey Max swoops round the outside into 1st place. I'm wondering if Ruffles made a mistake there, because he did have a 3-second gap to Gainful before Gainful pitted, so he must have only just very recently made a mistake that's cost him dear. Tom's still chasing down Pleb. He's got Benny still behind as well. Now this could turn into a slipstream train very quickly, to say the least. I think there's been an incident. There has. It involved Kev Knight and NRDZN have had a collision. Kev Knight spun it again, trying to come back round. He just needs to cool them tyres down a bit, but he's on his way again. As Ruffles does finally pit. He's pitted a bit early than I thought he would actually. I would assume he's going on to hards. No, he isn't. He's going on to softs. That's very... Oh, he's had a front wing. Oh, so Ruffles' front wing has been damaged. So he's pitted for a set of softs. So he'll do softs and then probably go on to another set of mediums to try and get into the end of the race, you'd think. So Donkey Max leads the way once again. Tom is hunting him down, but at the same time, Benny is not going to give this one up without a fight. Down the back straight again, Benny has DRS once again. And once again, he's not close enough to make a move. Seems to be a bit of a recurring theme, with a third of race distance completed now. Lap 11 out of 33. Benny is still looking to make a move, and it's just not working for him so far. It was a bit wide coming out the last corner there. Tom does a 1:18.0. I think Benny is starting to struggle to keep up. I think the DRS is just about keeping him there, but he needs to go a lot quicker if he's going to have anything to do. Ruffles is off in the middle, in the final sector, sorry. He's had a spin. drop down the order. We've actually got a good battle going on here. NRDZNs all over the back of May. This is for P11. And is he going to try and make a move on May here? We'll have to wait and see. He's thinking about it, but he's just not quite in the position where he can do it. That's going to cost him a bit of time though. Tap in the back of the Red Bull. He will get DRS down this front straight. May moves across aggressively to defend the inside line. Has NRDZN got it done? Yes, he has. He's got it done before the corner. We've seen a lot of that today. My cars have just got a move done. No messing about. That's a good move from NRDZN up into P11. We head back to the front. Benny still trying to make a move on Tom. He just can't find a way past, and he is starting to fall back now, which is not good from Benny's perspective. Benny losing the back end slightly. Benny is falling back slowly but surely. Meanwhile, Wreck Diver looks like he is trying to make a move on Pleb. This is for P4 and arguably quite good points here. Pleb and Donkey already having a good race, P1 and 4 respectively. Wreck Diver might be able to put a dent in the works in that Aston Martin. We'll have to wait and see. Through the middle sector, Wreck Diver comes. Is he going to try and size up a move down the front straight? It would be the most sensible place to have a go, given the gap that is now there. And in the meantime, I was going to say that, and Pleb's decided to head for the pit lane, so Wreck Diver does move up to P4. Pleb is in, and Pleb is going onto a set of hard tyres, so he will be trying to go to the end of the race on them, I would assume. We will soon find out. Meanwhile, Benny up into P2. Tom is currently P3 and is going to be looking to try and make a move on Benny here to try and get back into second place. And it seems like, oh, and Tom has spun it. As I was about to say that the gap seems to be increasing. Tom loses it coming through the final sector and loses out to Wreck Diver. So Wreck Diver moves up to P3, but he has got Tom directly behind him, which I'm assuming a move is going to be made. DRS is open for Tom. Wreck Diver's trying to break the toe a little bit. Is he going to make a move? He's going to try the outside, which is a very risky move. He's going to try and go around. He has to go across the skittles. And I think he's going to have to give that back, isn't he? Tom, he's gone straight over the corner. He definitely went over the rumble strips because he was jumping all over the place. So surely he's going to have to give that back. It'll be one the stewards are looking into. If I was a steward, I would say that's a no-brainer, really. Let Wreck Diver have the position back. It seems like that isn't going to happen so far. As meanwhile, I think that was a crash, and it was. It's Ruffles in the wall. That's down in the final sector in the loop. And it looks like he's had a big spin there coming out of the hairpin. He's on his way again, but he drops into the back of the field. So it doesn't look like it's going well for him so far. Meanwhile, Wreck Diver trying to use DRS to get a little bit closer to Tom. And so far, he can't do that on this occasion. I am really surprised Tom hasn't had to give that back, because he did go straight over the corner. As a Wreck Diver trying to close the gap, it's sort of fluctuating between growing and shrinking so far. And I think we've got another spinner, and I think it's Ruffles again. It is. He's come off in the middle sector this time. And the yellow there. He's on his way, and he's just spun it again. I think he's cooked them tyres, if I'm being honest. Seems to be struggling. Seems like he's lit them up, as you would say. And he's just struggling to get any grip into them. Meanwhile, Yatansik is currently defending from Kev Knight. And he's also got, in fact, Benny is actually traffic, so this could get a little bit sketchy, as Kev Knight's trying to get past Yatansik, but they've also got traffic of Benny behind. Kev Knight's gone into ghost mode to try and let Benny get through as quick as he can. They're trying to get through each other, but it seems like none of them wants to give up this place. Meanwhile, is that Maestro off? Maestro's gone off in the same place as his teammate. Luckily, he has a bit of breathing room. Donkey Max still leads the way. Benny has finally got past the traffic, but all that traffic is what Tom and Wreck Diver are going to have to deal with in a couple of laps' time. As Gainful and the McLaren had a really good race. Started last, P15 on the grid. He's made his way. Sorry, no, he didn't. He started just outside the top 10 actually, but still a good race for him. Still gained a few places. Up at currently P6, looking to size up a move on NZ Pro in the Haas. Can't get it done on that occasion. To come through the final sector, and Gameful spins it coming through the final sector. Gone into ghost mode. He's on his way again. Is he heading for the pit lane? Yes, he is. So I don't know if he did actually catch his front wing there, but it seemed a little bit strange. And Ruffles is out of the session, and that's a virtual safety car, which there seems to be a lot of stopped cars on the track at the minute, so that could potentially get upgraded. It doesn't look like the race director are going to do anything about it, so they're just going to carry on with a virtual safety car. Which doesn't really compact the field down and give us some exciting racing. Now Donkey Max is making that opportunity to pit and go to the end of the race on his set of tyres. Benny has followed him in. Tom is also following him. Is Wreck Diver going to go in? Wreck Diver stays out, which is very interesting. Now where is this going to bring out Donkey Max? He needs to get out quickly if he's going to get ahead of Wreck Diver, and he does, just about. Got a Maestro in between the two of them. There's a bit of a sandwich. Benny's out in P3, Tom's coming out P4. Pleb's all the way, quite a fair way back. So as we go green once again, 21 out of 33. Halfway through the race, almost completed 2/3 of the race distance. And Donkey Max still trying to pull the gap away. Meanwhile, I think Maestro is not far off the back of Utancic here. 1.1 seconds is the gap. And you can see Utancic just ahead. He's got actually a bit of traffic in between at the minute. It looks like Donkey Max, who's just going through, our race leader. As Maestro and Utancic go side by side, pushing each other a little bit. They've both got DRS down the front straight. Is Maestro going to have a look down the inside into turn one? Late on the brakes he goes, and I think he's got it done. Looking at that, he has indeed. So Utancic loses a place down to P10. Maestro gains one. So Utancic sitting on the edge of that top 10. Lap 22 out of 33. 2/3 of the race distance completed. Still looks like we're going to get an exciting battle towards the end. Wreck Diver 4.2 seconds off Donkey Max, which Wreck Diver I believe doesn't have to pit again. Or he's not going to try to anyway. He's on a set of mediums currently, so he might potentially have to bail. Benny definitely isn't going to have to pit because he's just pitted. Donkey's the same. Tom also just pitted for a fresh set of mediums. So them three are going to be up there. It seems like them tyres aren't wearing out for Donkey Max on the new rubber. Benny just sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.8, and then Tom goes even faster with a 1:17.6. In the meantime, I've just spotted a bit of a battle developing. Well, Maestro's just gone purple in the second fastest in the second sector of anybody during the race, and he's also onto the back of May here in the sister car, and May has a bit of an impact, and that he's out of the session. That damage has done so much impact that May is out of the race. Now surely that is going to have to be a safety car, because that car is not in a nice place to get recovered. It was a very big hit. I think they've got it cleared, but that's a miracle, is that. A little bit of action there as Maestro and the sister car just decides to not avoid May, and May is out of the race. So we've lost 3 in this race now. Donkey Max still leads the way. Benny second, but an 11-second gap to second place. Tom isn't far off Benny, to be fair. He's 1.5 seconds behind. There is Benny just a bit further up the road. So Tom really needs to look at doing something here. And I think that's Pleb with a spin. It is. And he's lost the position to NZ Pro in the process, and I think he's lost the front wing as well. Gainful goes through to P6, and he's got no front downforce as Pleb, so he is going to be pitting for a new front wing, that is for sure. The race isn't over though, really. Maestro sets a 1:17.6. Tom is closing on to the back of Benny here. He's within DRS range. We head on to lap 25. And Tom not quite close enough on that occasion to make a move. Still racing hard. I think there's contact involving Gainful and NZ Pro in the final sector. There is. They were both off the track there. On the way again, but got a little bit sketchy there. Gainful has received a 3-second penalty for that incident, so clearly had something to do with it, whether being the instigator or the innocent party. I know you can't tell much from a track map, but it seemed a bit 50-50 did that one. Turned in on each other. Tom is now 5/10 behind Benny, closing in slowly but surely. Donkey Max is extending his race lead with all this. As Tom is going to look to try and make a move here. He's going to try and go around the outside into turn 1 with DRS. Around the outside, a little bit of wheel banging between the two of them. But Benny has to concede the position. And Tom moves up into second place. But Benny isn't out of it yet. You wouldn't like to think that. He's only still within DRS range of Tom. Meanwhile, Gainful is having a go at NZ Pro down the main straight. This is for 5th position, and he gets the move done even before the corner as well. We've seen plenty of that today. So Gainful up to 5th place, and NZ Pro couldn't do anything about that one. Most of the grid has penalties now. Donkey Max heads on lap 27 out of 33. He's got a lapped car trying to unlap themselves, which he does successfully. Tom does a 1:17.4, but I think Donkey Max is a little bit too far out of catching distance. Tom is going to need to find 2 seconds a lap from now to try and see if he can catch Donkey Max, which is not impossible, but it seems quite a big mountain to climb. And with traffic in play, anything could happen really. On board with NZ Pro coming through the final chicane. He's going to try and get his revenge on Gainful on this lap. He's going to have DRS down the front straight. Gaining. He's going to move to the inside line. A little bit of a wheel bang between the two of them. But he does get the move done before the corner again. Sends NZ Pro back up into 5th place. After a little bit of a scrap. Again, Donkey Max. He's actually liking the fact that I think that's Maestro. Yes, it is Maestro in the Alpha Tauri. It's actually giving him a bit of DRS here to try and pull that a little bit further away from Tom, and it seems to be stabilising the gap a little bit at the minute, which is good. Lap 28 out of 33, 5 to go. And Donkey Max has just not gone faster than anybody in the first sector. 12.6 seconds is the gap now. As we have once again, Gainful has got back past NZ Pro. These boys keep on swapping positions like yo-yos at the minute. NZ Pro is back behind and has got it all to do again. And Donkey Max has just done the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, a 1:17.0. Which means the gap to Tom is currently extending as we head on to lap 29. And to be fair, it's not been a boring race, it's been an okay race. Bit of action here and there. Meanwhile, NZ Pro trying to make a move into turn 1. He's a little bit too far back on that occasion. Is he going to get anything down towards the hairpin? No DRS here, but he might be able to try and make a move. Not on this occasion. So he'll live to fight another day. Donkey Max leads us on to lap 30. 11.9 seconds is the gap, and I've just received that Benny has received a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. This is desperately bringing Wreck Dive back into play, because I'm pretty sure Benny had a penalty already, so that could potentially shake up positions at the end of the race. Most of the field do have penalties to serve, including Donkey Max, but I don't think he's had that many penalties. It's going to mount up to 11 seconds really, but he's driven a pretty good race so far. Work to still do to get it to the end. And the Pro still trying to make a move on Gainful. He's been close the last couple of laps, and even with DRS he's still not been able to get past. And as I say that, Gainful has had a massive accident. It looks like he's planted on the throttle and loses the back end into the wall. That's a damaged front wing, and that is going to be back to the pit lane. So NZ Pro's pressure and patience has persisted Grobs is also out of the race. Grobs has gone off the track. You can see him exiting the track there. So he's out of the race as well. Due to a problem, I'm guessing, if he's pulled off like that. So Grobs is out of the race. We've had a couple of retirements. Donkey Max still leading the way though, as he's about to come on to the penultimate lap of the race. Then we'll have the final lap. It's around the last corner he comes. Trying to weave a bit to try and get some temperature into his tyres. I wonder if they're going a little bit cold. He's still getting DRS off Maestro in front. Tom is closing the gap, but it's not going to be to a state where it's going to cause Donkey Max any trouble, I don't think. The gap is not coming down quick enough at the minute. It needed to be down to about 4 seconds now, and it hasn't come down to that. So I think we're going to have a different race winner for the first time in a long time in GRL, to be fair. It's been a long time since we've had a different race winner, and Tom's been winning all the time. So it's going to be nice to see as Donkey Max crosses the line. We're on to the final lap of the race, and I think we need to talk about him really, because he's driven an absolute spotless race from start to finish. Had that little bit of a battle with Maestro at the start. Maestro unfortunately did fall down the field due to a few incidents. Which means he's down in P6 now after starting quite high up at the grid and battling the first lap. But apart from that, Donkey Max led the way. Couple of position changes. He's got his pit stops right on the money, and because of that, he's a deserved winner today, you would say. It seems like that is about what he is going to do as he heads round into the final chicane, and then which will be shortly followed by the last corner. As he comes round, Donkey Max is going to win the GRL Spanish Grand Prix. Donkey Max takes the win. First different winner in a very long time in GRL. Tom, our usual race winner, comes home for P2. He fighted his way after starting P3 on the grid. Manages P2 in the end. Benny comes home for P3. Wreck Diver is going to come home for potentially P4, and he does. And then Z Pro is finally to cross the line in P5. A lot of the other guys have already crossed due to being lapped cars. So that was a good race. It was a good race. Not many incidents. Little safety cars, a few virtual safety cars, but no full course safety cars backing up the grid, and it made it a good race. Then Z Pro stops on the line just to do a bit of showing off. Maestro is to come across in P6 and to round out the order as he crosses the line, and that is the end of the Spanish Grand Prix for GRL. Round 4 is completed and in the books. And it was a pretty good race, weren't it? Guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.